In this perspective, we're going to take a look at a dark ice type that was introduced in the 4th gen as a further evolution to, I would say, probably my favorite, the 2nd gen. It's Weavile. What Weavile does best, and I apologize for doing 3 sweepers in a row, but this week again is another physical sweeper. But wouldn't it be unfortunate to see once more we have a lot of weaknesses on it? You know, it does not help having fairy types around for some pokes, and Weavile is one of them. Weavile, but when used in its proper tier, it has some top speeds, so you want to make sure to max those out and max out its physical attack. Now, to get better physical attack, if you so choose and you don't want to use Sword Stance, maybe replace that with X Scissor, because that is certainly a very strong maneuver, and it will be able to take out things such as, well, unfortunately none of your weaknesses, but grass types and, yeah, psychic types, but unfortunately that's already covered by Night Slash, which is awesome if you get the higher ratio of critical hits to happen on your side. That's what the benefit of Night Slash is, and say of Pursuit, which I've seen on some Weavile sets, and quite frankly, I just have not maybe had the right sweeper setup. But the way that I test these pokes nowadays is through the Battle Institute, so it's just randomly generated NPCs that get progressively harder in a set of 5. And so in most of those scenarios, you know, there's many circumstances where obviously it's not even in its tier, but in many scenarios, Weavile was far too weak in physical and special defense, which they don't look too bad, but they're really not that great, especially when you don't have any effort value investment in them. And that using something like a Pursuit or a Low Kick was only effective some of the time. Whereas Brick Break and Night Slash, I had better coverage and more hitting power, plus the higher critical hit ratio with using Night Slash. So it's something to consider, and that's really up to player choice. That's the difference in whether I would recommend, say, a Fire Blast for a poke over a Flamethrower. You know, it really depends what you're comfortable using and how you tend to shift out Pokemon in a pinch, if you do, or if you even have the option to. Sometimes we're backed up against a wall and you gotta do what you gotta do, and Night Slash is better than Pursuit. Much more powerful. Ice Punch, same sort of situation. Ice Shard is a guaranteed strike. That would be the only case where I would say, consider what you're using Weavile for. Are you going to go full-on full-on physical attacking sweeper, or are you going to do a mix with a revenge kill? Because if you do, well then maybe you want Ice Shard instead of Ice Punch. It's all things to consider, friends. And Brick Break, I thought, again, was way better than Low Kick, because he oftentimes came across the lighter steel, which actually, it wasn't even lighter steel, it was just lighter rock types and things of that nature that didn't really get hit that well with Low Kick, or was just the other option I had to go to because Night Slash was just not going to be effective. So, yeah, you have to watch out for those fairy types nowadays, and fire types, of course. Steel, rock, and fighting. And that's unfortunately where I think Weavile is a little short in its usefulness. Don't get me wrong, I like a fast physical sweeper just like the next guy, but when it comes down to it, there are some better options just based on abilities. The other ability that it has access to, I think, is called Prankster. It's whatever ability allows you to steal an item from your foe, but the problem is, if you're a masterful metagame player, there's no way you're not going to have a Life Orb or a Choice Band, something to assist Weavile in further attacking. That's the other issue of why it remained a threat in my defensive force. If it was on the field too long with Low Kicks and Ice Shards and things that are just not as effective as the moves that I've recommended as the main set, and of course included with Sword Stance, that's the best way to go. Switch out on something like a Psychic type that you know a Psychic move is coming, and then boom, they're going to be forced to switch, running away from your Night Slash, hoping that you don't have Pursuit. That's the benefit of having Pursuit, of course. But let them run. Don't waste time on a weak pursuit. Make sure you boost its moves with a sword stance. You boost that attack power, and I would go with the life orb if anything, because if you leave foes out on the field for too long, this Weavile just won't last, and that's where I kept running into issues. It just wouldn't have the knockout power that other sweepers like Heracross we mentioned last week, that was also a physical sweeper, just possess naturally and are able to do so efficiently based on their moveset of super effective hitting moves that are super powerful. I mean, Night Slash and Ice Punch and Brick Break are all obviously stronger than the other options, but they are not in the range of like Mega Horn, Close Combat, 120 base power. We're talking on the levels of 75 base power. So you're going to need what you can to boost this Weavile in any way. So whether that's Choice Band and you just want to do a super fast revenge kill that's powered up with the Choice Band and then you run back to your ball like a sneaky Weavile owner, then you can, and that's totally a legitimate strategy. I'm not saying sneaky by any negative terms, but if you want to hit them hard and fast like my main strategy is, Swords Dance is the way to go on a free switch on a Psychic type. So, I've been DeoGenZ, hoping that you've enjoyed the Pokemon perspective, and if you like this series, be sure to share, because that automatically enters you in, each time you share an episode, another slot, another token in the shiny giveaway that's done every 10 episodes. So if you want a chance to win a shiny poke on episode 10, it'd be cool if you could share this. Thanks guys for watching, and comment below, have you battled with Weavile before? Have you run into the same issues that I have? Maybe it's just that in the newer gens there's more that can destroy it, and in the 4th gen it seemed like a fine sweeper. But unfortunately it falls back to lower tiers because of its many weaknesses and not super powered moveset. But like I said, it's assisted by Sword Stance or a choice item. So I'm DeoGenZ, and I hope to see you next week.